And welcome back to Pass and Move. Today's episode, we got a great game for you against West Ham. As you can tell from the table here, they are in third and we've dropped down to fifth, but Manchester City have already played their game in hand, so we do have the chance to climb back into the Champions League spots. If you didn't check out the last episode, you should definitely watch it. Since then, there's a couple of updates. So the last episode, I think, was the game against Chelsea, if I'm not mistaken. But since then, really just terrible run of form here. We've got 2 losses, 3 draws, and 3 wins. I'm just going to quickly go through them. So there's 1-0 loss to Leicester City. We didn't bounce back from the Chelsea game. Instead, Vardy managed to score in the 37th minute. And yeah, I think we pretty much dominated this game, but well, statistically anyways, but the only statistic that matters is the one right over there, which shows that we lost 1-0. And then we got consecutive draws in the Premier Division. This really pretty much put this run of form here, these 4 games here, just put a serious title a blow to our chances for the title, basically. And it looks like we're more likely to just end in the Champions League spots rather than challenge, even though the season's not over just yet. We're still in January and we are close to the first spot. But yeah, 1-1 draw to Southampton, who managed to draw first blood, but Marcus Rashford managing to score there for us to guess the equaliser. And we did sort of outplay them. Well, actually, we really did outplay them, but we didn't take our chances. We had 3 clear-cut chances and 2 half chances. And lately, we haven't been managing to score much, as you can see here. Only managed to score 3 goals against Tottenham. Then it followed a 1-1 draw to Norwich. Luke Shaw managing to get his 2nd goal of the season. I think he's been really great for us so far this season, really relishing his chance to be the first choice left back, and he seemed to have improved quite a lot. Really, he's a leading player for most Premier Divisions, and it's likely that he'll end up being a star player for most Premier Division sides. The game after that was a really great 3-0 win against Tottenham. I didn't expect this to happen considering our recent form, as well as us being unable to finish off chances, but thankfully Mata had a man of the match display there, and we managed to score 3 goals from 1 clear-cut chance and 2 half chances, as well as numerous shots, of course. And it followed a nervy 1-0 win against Aston Villa, Paul Pogba managing to score in the 88th minute. Let me see if I can quickly show you that goal. But yeah, we did pretty much dominate this game as well. We've been not dominating games a lot lately, but just really not finishing off, and I think a lot of it has to do with confidence, really. But let me see if I can quickly show you the Paul Pogba goal, if it would load. But yeah, this game was quite tight all the way to the end, as you can tell. In the 88th minute is when we finally managed to score the goal. But before then, it was really tight. But yeah, you can have a quick look at the goal here. Mkhitaryan crosses it, but they've cleared it. Januzaj does well to set up Pogba, who makes no mistake to tuck it in. And yeah, that's pretty much that won us the game. Then what followed that was the Watford game. Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford, both are future youngsters, future strikers, both playing incredibly well. Actually, in fact, I do want to show you Marcus Rashford. So he's doing really well in inside forward on attack duties. A lot of his attributes suit it other than his vision, but definitely he's much more suited playing as a poacher or an advanced forward as well. But I've been thinking lately we do have James Wilson coming through, and he's done really well on his recent loan spells. He's now considered to be a decent player for most Premier Division sides. So I think when he comes back, there's a very likely chance I'll be playing him and Martial up top, because look at his stats. He's got incredible finishing. Obviously, his acceleration pace is great, and he's really perfect. I mean, most of my strikers are suited for the poacher role, but because of the system that we're playing, it makes more sense to play them as advanced forwards, which they can do. Not entirely comfortable, but they can do it. And yeah, since that Watford game, we've had a horrible draw against Crystal Palace, but that was only in the FA Cup 3rd round, so there is a replay, as you can see here. Not much happened in this game, really, but the loss that hurt the most is the one against Liverpool. They were in 10th position at this point. It was a 3-0 loss when we really could have done better. We did not dominate this game by any means, only the 1 clear-cut chance. So I guess we did have the chances, but not too many shots. They had way more shots, and they made it count in front of goal without even having a single clear-cut chance. So yeah, quite disappointing. As you can see, a number of yellow cards there as well. So, but yeah, for today's game, we've got West Ham. Let me see the table. So I think if we beat them, we do manage to climb up the table, but we're also closing up the gap to first spot. So they do have a game in hand to go. Actually, not a game in hand. They do have a game where if they win, they could go second. But if you beat them, they won't. They'll stay right there and as they are in third. Will be 46 points, so the gap to first spot would be, I think, 3 points up until Arsenal play their game. Let's see who Arsenal will be playing. They're not playing today. They will be playing tomorrow against Bournemouth in 17th, so they're likely to win that game. But yeah, really, we just need to do our bit in winning this game to try and close the gap to Champions League as well as the Premier Division title. It's not completely out of our way, but we can do it if we manage to get into a good little running, winning form, basically. Anyways, as usual, David De Gea in goal. Darmian's still doing really well there in the right back spot, so he's going to stay on. Unfortunately, Mario Fernandes is going to miss out. Smalling and Baye have been doing well lately together. Shaw as great as ever. And Blind and Herrera are pretty much, I mean, Blind's our first choice, but Herrera's not. But he's been doing really well as a 7.22 average rating. He's got 1 goal in his last 5 games. And Pogba hasn't been doing too great, just 6.9. So he's been dropped for Herrera. And we'll see how Herrera gets on, as he's been playing really well in the last few games. Lingard is coming in for Mkhitaryan, who's been in terrible form recently. 6.74 average rating, no goals, no assists, quite disappointing. So we'll be bringing on Lingard, who has done well for us when we've called him. Got 2 assists in his last 5 games, but he's actually managed 5 goals and 4 assists through that winger role on the right. Januzaj is going to be playing first because unfortunately Mata's out injured. He's injured for another 5 to 10 days. Yeah, this season he's been pretty much injured quite a lot, really, since the whole year of 2017. But considering this season, which I think you could say around preseason, which is the July here, I think, or was that June? Anyways, just a number of injuries, really. The hip injury here really being the worst of them, 2 months out. But yeah, 2 twisted ankles, not nice at all. I mean, he hasn't been in incredible form, but it's been tough for him because he's been injured. It's still decent, 10 appearances from the start, 3 goals, 4 assists, so can't complain too much. But yeah, Januzaj being decent for us there. Rashford's going to be playing because, as always, he's still incredible. 16 goals, 3 assists in 28 appearances, 30 in total, and 1 goal, 1 assist in his last 5 games. Anthony Martial really has a chance to stake his claim for the advanced forward position. He's still getting used to it a little bit, but yeah, 1 goal, 1 assist in his last 5 games. Doesn't read too well, but his overall performance has been great. 10 goals, 4 assists in, I think that's 24 appearances total, but only 8 of them have been starts. So he needs to get used to being a starter for us now. Ibrahimovic has been very disappointing this season. He hasn't scored in a ridiculous amount of games, and it looks like he's really likely to be moved on this season. Even though I think he's still a leading player for most division sides, but he will probably miss out just because of his performances lately this season. Anyways, as you can see, West Ham having a strong side here. Past previous meetings, we've only won 2, they've won 3, so out of the 5 games we played in total since the start. So yeah, I would consider them favourites, considering how they've done this season. They have been a surprise package. We're low on form as well. But yeah, let me tell them that there's a chance for revenge here and see whether they can step up for today's performance. Marcus Rashford, as you can tell here, is our top goal scorer. So we're really hoping to see him get a couple more games this season. Hopefully a couple more goals today. Let's skip this little intro here. And West Ham will be kicking off today's game. 3D still sorting itself out a little bit. As you can see, the players are skating on the grass there rather than actually running. But yeah, just a minute now so far, and Blind's managed to get a yellow card already. That deep line playmaker on defend role has really struggled to not get yellow cards. It doesn't matter who plays. Blind so far, let's have a quick look. He's managed 11 yellow cards and 31 appearances in total. So I guess that's a bit less than. Sorry about that. I guess that's a bit less than how much Herrera got last season, as well as Carrick a little bit. But still, we want to try and avoid those early yellow cards because it forces me into making a substitution in the second half. Let's give the players a little bit of a boost of encouragement here. West Ham dominating the shots, but thankfully Dimitri Payet has just been injured. They're still going to stick to the 4-3-3 formation though, and there will be a chance here. It looks like Noble's going to take a free kick. Does decently there, but I don't know what's going on. The ball bounces in the box and it actually ends up going out for a goal kick. Thankfully they didn't capitalise from that. But they are bringing the ball forward here again, and they do look dangerous. So we need to deal with this defensively and hopefully hit them on the counter. Lanzini tries to tuck it in the bottom right corner, but De Gea's there he's safe. They apparently consider that, I think, as their first clear-cut chance of the game, but that doesn't really amount to much, and Martial's going to bring it forward here, and we do break. Can he score? Has a decent shot on goal, but Adrian's got that covered, really. I thought Martial might be more willing to attack a little bit, like run with the ball a bit more. I'm going to go into control just because of our lack of shots. West Ham dominating, and I think give the players a little bit more encouragement as well. They're really not too great in terms of form. They play much better when they are in. Morale. Sorry, they play much better with morale. Of course, half of this game is got really to do with morale rather than tactics. If you've got good morale, your players are more likely to succeed. And Zaza just ran past everyone there. Quite ridiculous defending, really, but he ran past everyone as a solo goal, but for some reason Lanzini's got an assist for that. But West Ham do lead here. I'm going to get a second chance here to see Smalling doing some ridiculous defending, as well as Bailly, and Darmian's pretty much caught out in his right back spot as well, so that's the whole of the defence to blame there. As for some reason average rating stays as the same, even though they don't deserve those rating, and Noble has just scored for West Ham. A great goal, really. But it looks like I might have to play on the counter just for the sake of how many. It looks like I'm much better on the counter, and you can see the 3D chance there of their goal. I'm going to switch to counter, see how it goes. Maybe we can get a goal before half time. And Lingard does put the ball into box for Herrera, who tries to curl it in on the half turn, but really should have given that to someone who's more likely to score from there. And it is West Ham who can make it 3 before half time. Lanzini's going to bring the ball forward here, and he just goes past Darmian as if he's not even there. And somehow we've won that cleanly, but Martial will bring the ball forward here. Lingard's going to dribble down the right. Can you find someone in the box? He does find Martial, who does not tuck that in, and that was just an incredible bit of defending, last minute defending from West Ham, and it is Zaza who's going to bring the ball forward here. He does attempt to make it 3, but thankfully that was a poor shot compared to his effort early on. Martial's for some reason the worst rating, even though, I mean, I can understand why, but most of these players haven't performed. Bailly, definitely. We're just going to tell my players off, obviously, as well as see if they can become motivated for the second half. But this little run of form that we're going on here lately has not been good whatsoever. Looks like missing some of the key players has really cost us. And yeah, we don't do well there at all. Darmian just heading it to IU rather than, I don't know why he doesn't bring that ball down. But thankfully we do deal with that. We just need to find our shape here as Zaza passes to IU, who's being shuffled out wide by Lingard. And it looks like they're going to get a decent cross in here. Instead he goes to Lanzini, who's going to go all the way and thankfully hits the crossbar there. And we're doing a bit better in terms of shots on the counter, but really overall performance is no different than the first half. They're dominating their game, and they're 2-0 up, so they don't even have to worry about anything really, and they're still attacking quite a lot. And Zaza does have a long range shot there, but it's straight at the hair, and we'll be the ones to bring the ball forward here, but apparently not. The highlight doesn't amount to much, and Noble is going to cross it in on a set piece. Reed scores, and that makes it 3-0 to West Ham, and that's 50 minutes. And as you can see, just a terrible performance. Almost regretting showing you guys this game, and it looks like we will stay in, I think, 4th, or was that 5th? I don't know what Darmian was doing there as well as De Gea, but just have to deal with it. We'll make a couple of substitutions, I think. We'll definitely put Herrera in the deep line playmaker role and bring on Pogba. Januzaj's had a terrible game, as well as Anthony Martial, so let's see what we could do here. I'm going to play Ibrahimovic as a complete forward because that's what he's more suited to. Just make everyone an attacking now and see what happens. In terms of tactical instructions, I don't think I'll really change much. Not sure what to change. I think I'll tell my players to run at the defence more, maybe look to work the ball into the box. We are conceding lots, so I'll go narrow and let's run at the defence. Let's see what happens. Work the ball into the box. They have been we've only edged possession a little bit. We are going to get a chance here, but for some reason Pereira plays that back to Bailly rather than putting it into the box, and Pogba's going to run with the ball here. He's going to definitely go for the shot. He actually crosses it in back into Ibrahimovic, who's finally scored his first goal in ages. That's his 10th goal of the season. I guess that gives us a bit of a chance, but I don't see us scoring two. Pogba does really well to cut back there. I actually thought he would try for the shot. He normally goes for a shot in those kind of circumstances, and Ibrahimovic is in a good position there to just tuck it in. That was our first clear-cut chance of the game, finally coming in the 60th minute. But West Ham are looking dangerous again as they bring the ball forward here. Feghouli is going to find the cross. Seth Herrera robs him, and he plays it straight away to Ibrahimovic, who tries to find Lingard, but Smalling does well to win it back, and Ibrahimovic has a second chance to find someone, and instead he runs with the ball, plays Darmian on the right. We just need a good ball into the box here, and we can make it two possibly, but instead Pogba will go all the way and try to shoot, and he just, well, I'd say just about missed out, but he pretty much missed out quite a lot. Just give my players a little bit more encouragement. They are low on morale still, and yeah, we don't look too good here. Can Pogba find someone? Instead, he loses out to Noble, and Noble's going to have a chance to clear it, but instead he plays it to Ogbonna. Can we press him a little bit and win this ball back? Yes, we can. Shaw does that exactly, and he's going to find Rashford. Can Rashford put a good ball into the box? He does, and Ibrahimovic almost makes it two. I think that hit the woodwork though, and we are looking much more dangerous now, but it feels a bit too little too late, really. On the 80th minute now, our overall statistics have improved a bit. We are also holding on to more possession than we did in the first half, but it's pretty much game over. West Ham made it game over within 15 minutes, so can't really complain about the second half response, but the overall display has been poor, especially the first half. And yeah, in the last minute here, it looks like it's going to end 3-1 to West Ham, and this puts a serious dent in our title chances. It's almost definitely going to be a Champions League spot for us this year, unless we manage to put a really good run of form and other teams dropped their points. And we're in serious danger of just qualifying for the Europa Cup again this season if we don't really step up our performances, because we'll have a quick look at the Premier Division table in a second now. So as you can see, we are in 5th, and City are ahead of us by 1 point. Leicester behind us by 3, so we really can't afford to lose anymore. We've lost 7 games, the most out of the top 6 here. So really, compared to last year, just terrible. We've only won 6 times more than we've lost, so that's quite disappointing. And West Ham do go top with that result, but Arsenal do have a game in hand against Bournemouth. But overall, our performances lately have been terrible, because compared to the beginning of the season, just look at all those greens. A couple losses, of course, and that's acceptable, but mostly it was, green wins. And then I think it's just about after the Euro Cup where we've had a terrible bit of form here. I think we played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think that's 10 games, and we've only won 3 of those and lost 4, as well as drawn 3. So terrible bit of form here, and we do have it's just annoying, the games that we've lost and drawn. For example, we should be beating Everton, who were in relegation zone at the time. I've actually found out why they were in the relegation zone. The reason is that they have sold. They're still in last place. They've actually sold. Oh, I thought they sold Lukaku. I could have sworn he was somewhere else. That's a bit strange. Maybe he was just out injured. Well, never mind then. I don't know why they're I don't know why they're actually in the 20th space. But they did fire their manager and bring in Neil Harris. So let's see how that goes for them. But yeah, it's just the teams that we were losing against, or even drawing, just teams we shouldn't be drawing or losing with. So, for example, Everton, they were in the relegation zone, should have been winning against them. Leicester, we should definitely won. We were at home, no excuses. Away games are a bit more excusable, but really we should be beating Southampton and Norwich here, who really, they're winnable games, and then we ended up beating Tottenham. Like, why are we drawing and losing to these teams, but then beating Tottenham? We managed to beat Aston Villa and and Watford, sorry, there, so that's okay. But yeah, these two losses are quite damaging. The Liverpool and West Ham one. Liverpool were in 10th place at the time, and West Ham were top. So I mean, they weren't top, and they were top during the Liverpool game, I think, and then something went wrong. They dropped a bit, but basically, it's West Ham and Arsenal going for the title here, and if we beat them, that would have, put a serious. It would have shown that we were serious, that we really did want to win the title. In terms of when we'll be back, we've got a couple of games here. We've got City, Arsenal, and Chelsea that are the big ones. It depends on how the season goes along, but it's more likely that I'll be back for the Arsenal game just because they're in second position. Doesn't really City maybe depends on how it goes. But we should be aiming for the title this year, so I'm going to be showing more like the title sort of games. If we manage to win our run of games here and we actually climb up the table and City lose theirs, or Arsenal, or even West Ham, then it makes more sense for us to show the Arsenal game. It really depends, but we do have a couple of choices here. We've got City and Arsenal here, and then possibly just the last game of the season here, and it depends on how we do in the Euro Cup as well as the FA Cup, depending. We were FA Cup winners last year, so as you can see, we're the title holders, so maybe we can make it 3 in a row, I think. Would it be 3 in a row? Yeah, we won it in 2015, 2016, and we could make it 3 in a row by winning in 2017. Technically 2018, but yeah. So maybe we can make it 3 in a row. But anyways, I think that'll be all for today. If you enjoyed the episode, as always, please hit the like button as well as subscribe. And yeah, that'll be all. Thanks guys for watching.